So when I first started learning gypsy jazz, I came from a blues background, and all I knew is that you played pentatonic scales up and down, and you could sound like 99% of what you hear on the radio. And I had a heck of a time learning gypsy jazz in the very beginning because I didn't know the chords, the chord shapes, and how to improvise over them. So I searched all over, couldn't find anything, and what I really would have liked is kind of a framework to lay that out. So that's what I intend to do with this. I thought the best way to do this would be to start with what is most people's favorite, or a lot of people's favorite, and the most simple gypsy jazz song, Minor Swing. And it's a 1-4-5, just like a blues. The chords are A6, D6, and E7. And I would go over each of the chords and discuss what scales, arpeggios, shapes, things that you can do over each chord. And by the end of it, hopefully you will be able to improvise through minor swing, switching between the chords, and sound like you know what you're doing, kind of. The chords to minor swing, as I said, are A6, D6, and E7. If you play just straight ahead, it sounds like this. And of course, you can add frills to that. So I'll play it one more time and just add frills to it. It's not the purpose of the video to show you this, but in case you pick it up, it's fun. Especially if you're playing rhythm for a long time, you get bored. So, So the first chord is A minor 6. So I'm going to show you the things that Django uses that will work for all minor 6, but for right now we're just going to isolate it to A. So this is the chord. Django sticks to mostly arpeggios with some scales. So the first arpeggio would be just the bottom half of a minor chord, right? He likes to, so that'll be the center point of his lick, and he likes to surround them with notes. So these are surrounding notes. You can put the 6 in there. So that's all here. The next arpeggio that he likes to use is starting from the A right here. Recognize that from things such as in Montan Sanders Univase. This is an E, but it's here. It's in there in the lick. Or from Manege, it's right there. So he'll use that one a lot. And finally, you have an arpeggio right here. It's kind of, if you think about the A minor chord that you learn when you first start guitar, it's that right here, and it's notice how these are all very good for 2 fingers. Those are the 3 kind of sections that that will really help you. That when you realize an A6 chord is coming up, you'll think in your head, where's the closest A6 arpeggio? And those are in 3 pretty good spots on the neck, and you'll be able to land into one of those as you're soloing. The next chord is D minor 6, so it's another minor 6, so we're going to use the same arpeggios, but I'll show you where they are in relation to D minor 6. So that's my root, D. So this is the first one that I showed you for the A minor, but now right there. The next one I showed you is this shape. Which can also be played open. And then lastly, we have this shape. There's my root D. So those are the three shapes for D minor 6. So the last chord is an E7 chord, right? And this is the playground chord. You have so many options to solo when you are playing over a dominant chord. And you'll find yourself like playing songs like Sweet George Brown that have several dominant chords in it, so that you can just explore all these possibilities. Now, the first thing, when you're playing the dominant chord that is in the key that you're playing, so we're in A, so the fifth of A, the dominant of A is E7. You can play the harmonic minor of your root key, of your key. So I'm over E7 and I can play A harmonic minor. It's a straight scale. It sounds fantastic over the E7. So I play it, right here, right? But I also play it here. So that gives me some sideways mobility. And then I also play it up here. Right. And generally those three sections will get you where you need to be. If you're playing like a minor 6 here, there's the harmonic minor. So that's one option. The next is a straight E7 arpeggio. So if I'm playing E7 here, there's an E7 arpeggio. Here's my here's my root, the E. Right? And more interestingly than that, though, you can also play diminished scales. And the diminished scale, you play it a half step above whatever chord you're playing. So I'm playing an E7, so I'm going to play half step higher F diminished scale. And diminished chords cycle, right? Because everything's evenly spaced, if I just move things 3 frets higher, I'm actually playing exactly the same chord. So you can do cool things. So if I'm playing the E7, I can play the bottom part of that diminished chord, and then I can move it 3 frets higher and 3 frets higher. So if I'm playing over E7, I can go and then land back on the root to A. See, it cycles. And then lastly, and this is a really dissident thing, but you can use this, and Django uses it a lot. It's called a tritone sub. So I'm in E7. Right? See that little shape right there? That's how you find your tritone sub. So here I'm playing B flat. So my tritone sub is B flat. So what you generally, you'll be coming out of something. So I will play the E7 arpeggio, and then I will go into the B flat. tango does that in minor swing solo. That is the tritone solo. So those are all of your options of the E7. As you can see, you have a lot of options, and pick and choose whichever one you want. It's a lot of fun. All right, now let's put all these pieces together so that you can actually solo through minor swing and sound like you know what you're doing. So we're going to focus on just the first 3 chords for now. So first the A, then the D, then the E. Okay? So we're going to be able to solo through those 3 and have the listener hear the chord changes in your solo. And unlike like blues where you just use one scale, we're going to be transitioning. Every chord you're going to switch, right? So I hear in my head first the A minor. Then the next chord is the D. So I'm going to start playing the D scale, D arpeggio. And then finally the E7. In this circumstance, I'm choosing the harmonic minor, and then back to A. So if I wanted to do that differently, I could play this A arpeggio. So again, A to D to E7. Wait, and I did the E7 arpeggio down into a diminished and came back up the diminished, and then back to the root. Right? So if I was going to play through, make a solo up just off the top of my head and go through the whole progression of minor swing, I'd start off. Let's pick this arpeggio, right? That's what I discussed earlier, that tritone sub. And, and if I wanted to play something more traditional, so here I'm up in D. So now I'm on the diminish because of the E7. So that's that A7 arpeggio, or A minor 6 arpeggio. Back to A, we got, that's the harmonic part. So that's the harmonic minor. Back to the A arpeggio. So just practice in your head slowly. Okay, I'm on the A. Now I'm on the D. Now I'm on the, and you're going to look for the closest thing. Now I'm on the A, E, back to the A. Back to the D. A. Just slowly practice that. You don't have to go very fast at all. You don't need to play to a backing track. Just hear the chords in your heads and just practice being comfortable with those scales. And once you're comfortable, then play along to a backing track and try to keep up. And then once you've done that for a while, you can go out and you can play with somebody else and you will sound like you know what you're doing. You are playing in the style. You are using all the right things. It is completely legit, and that should be a great starting point for you.